Good morning, this is Chris from ampmruns, and I'm sitting in this chair in this spot, so that means we have a shoe review, and today we're bringing in our 75-mile update on the ASICS Superblast 3s. So this is my first experience with ASICS's running shoes. I said in my first impressions that I had the Gel Kayano 32s. I would not run in those shoes, they're too heavy and clunky, and so this was my first real experience with what ASICS has to offer with their special foams and things like that. I originally planned this to be a sort of challenge where I was going to run every single run last month in April in these shoes, but that ended up not really working out, where I was getting a bit like feet tired of running in these for so many varied paces and forcing them to work in lanes that they didn't really work in. And that's gonna bring me into the whole review. So I'm at like 74.6 miles in these shoes, and I will keep wearing them. If that tells you where I'm at, I was going back and forth recording things. I'll probably interject a couple clips back and forth in here of my impressions as I was going throughout the month of April wearing these shoes. It was a push and pull constantly, kind of like where my legs were feeling for the day, and that's how I would feel about these shoes. And that's because they weren't necessarily what I thought they were going to be. So my impressions from the Superblast 2, I passed on picking them up multiple times, even though I was interested in the idea of them because they're a quick up-tempo shoe. But every time I tried them on and danced around in them, they felt a little too solid, a little too like hard, which they probably needed to break in a little bit, but it was a bit sturdy of a shoe. This is the exact opposite, so I can see a lot of Superblast 2 fans not liking these shoes, and it kind of became why I had to transition away from wearing them for the entire month straight. So let's get a little bit into the facts and figures here, talking about what makes up this shoe. So in my US men's size 10, it comes in at 8.5 ounces, which is just astonishingly low for a max stack kind of super trainer. I cannot believe how light this shoe feels on foot. It is really light. It's really padded too, which is a really nice detail. Underneath we have the FF Blast, which is a stronger, more sturdy foam underneath. And then on top of that is ASICS's top of the line aliphatic TPU FF Leap that's found in the Metaspeed Edge, the Metaspeed Ray, the Metaspeed Sky. It's different than the one that's found in the ASICS Mega Blast, which is more of a training aliphatic TPU. This is the race product, and then they've laid it in a bed of the FF Blast Plus, and that's to kind of keep the resilience up because this foam is astonishingly squishy, which brings me to the character that comes from the underfoot of this midsole, and it is electric at the start. I will say my first like step in comfort is so high and so comfortable, but what I ended up finding over the course of my 75 miles, and like I said, I was taking these on every single pace, so I was doing real easy slow runs, I was doing my fast tempo speed workout, because in my head a $200 super trainer should do it all. You should be able to borderline do this for race day and use it for easy runs, because that's what they're charging you for, that's what they're billing it as, and that's what they, you know, say this is what this shoe is for. And I don't think that's what this shoe can do right now. It is so soft, it's so squishy. I would say this is a comfortable walking shoe, and it is good to run in, but I found this problem where the FF Leap was so squishy and malleable that like my hip kind of rocks side to side inside the footbed no matter what. And it's like a weird sensation where I was getting so much exhaustion in my calves and my glutes just like trying to balance on this shoe when I was running at kind of slower paces, like a easy day run, and then super fast paces was the same thing, where it felt like I was kind of wobbling on top of this. Like this foam was squishing so hard into the solid bottom that it was making it unstable to then communicate to the floor, and it was like a Jenga tower of different foams and the ground communicating. And it was just building up wear over and over and over again on my legs, and I thought I was really starting to hate this shoe. I really was not enjoying. I was also having problems moving up here to the upper I don't like this upper. I might love this midsole, but this upper and I disagree. It's either the laces, the lockdown system that they have here. I'll put up clips right here and talk about it a little bit. My legs. So yeah, one thing of note that really annoyed me, about halfway through the conversational pace cool down, the Superblast came untied. My left shoe completely came untied, and I had to stop and retie them, which was kind of my worry this whole time. I mean, it's taken, I'm a little over like 56 miles in these shoes now. So, I mean, it took a long time for them to do it. But, yeah, I just like didn't think, gotta cross the street, 1 second. Tee-hee. There's no crosswalks here, so I just gotta jaywalk. Okay, cool. So yeah, it came fully untied, and that just sucks. I have to do the race days coming up this next weekend, and I'm deeply regretting this stupid bit of running only in the Superblast 3s as the do-it-all shoe, because I really don't think it can do it all. I think this shoe, I don't know if the 2 maybe could have done it more all, but I don't think this shoe can. It's too, so as you can see in that little clip I just showed, I have had these shoes come untied on me twice on runs. They loosen up constantly on runs where I have to stop and retie them, or I find my foot on that Jenga tower wiggling around so much that they just loosen up to the point where like I'm physically like pronating over the side because my foot is sliding around inside of here so much. And I have the base insoles in here. I haven't swapped them. I had a problem with the Mega Blast where I took the insoles out and I was sliding forward in them. That's my fault. These I've left completely as is, and I just cannot get along with this upper. It's padded, it's light, it's comfortable, but it doesn't lock my foot in. Like the heel I don't slip out of. Heel lockdown is great, but it's everything up in here. I'm just sliding around. It's loosening up. I'm constantly retying, battling them to get it tight where it's not suffocating my foot and causing a pressure point, or I'm gonna wiggle around and have to retie them. And throughout 75 miles, I have not found like a run where I don't end the run going, oh, let me stop before I do my walk like cool down because I need to retie my shoes. And it's every single run. I don't know if I have wide feet or something and it's pushing through the edges here. Let me know in the comments if you've experienced this issue or if you've sized down or anything like that. But it feels true to size, and I'll show where my foot sits in the shoe in B-roll. It feels fine, but just like over my heat expansion of my feet during runs or moving around, it ends up like I'm teetering on this Jenga tower, and wearing it every single day for about 70% of the month, I had to call it quits because the Jenga tower underneath was brutal. Now, to bring it back though, I then went on like a 5-6 day pause where I was running in other shoes, and then I broke it back out again for my 10-mile run I did at Disney over April. And surprise, surprise, I really enjoyed them. I think the pause was good. I still found that the upper became really loose and stuff, but as a whole, it worked a bit better for me on that day. And I think it was because I had time for my legs to kind of reset from fighting them so much, of that balance, where coming into these shoes with fresh legs was a lot better for me. But you know, it's a super trainer high stack shoe. It should cushion and not wear down my legs to the point it does, but it does. For me, I reach for these for like a median pace. I say it in all of my little snippets and stuff. This is like a 7:30 to 8:30 mile pace for how I run, and that's it. Anything slower, anything faster, it starts to cause pain to my legs of just, I'm really fighting to stabilize this foam, which is just really unfortunate. So I wanted to come to the underneath of this shoe, and this brings a little bit of worry. I'll do some close-up B-roll here of the underside of this shoe. This is after 75 miles, and we have a lot of peeling foam, a lot of like chunky kind of pieces coming off the bottom already, which I am not a fan of. I haven't noticed any change in feel in the foams or the traction or anything like that, but at 75 miles, these look pretty beat up. So that's a bit unfortunate, but we'll have to see in the long term. You can see the grooves on a lot of the forefoot here have completely almost flattened and grooved out where the bounce pad here is. By the way, this feels great, right around that 730. Honestly, the faster paces where I don't enjoy the shoe at, this bounce pad really does work. They're not kidding in the marketing. It's meant to act like a little trampoline underneath your foot on the forefoot here, and it works. If you're smashing your forefoot in, it gives you this nice pop off. Once you start to like teeter back towards the midfoot, that's when I notice the Jenga towerness. So I can't really hold that fast speed in these shoes that I think it's kind of targeted for. But I do enjoy the sensation that this brings. I think that's a really cool design, and I think it's really unique to the ASICS lineup and this shoe. So I wanted to point that out. A lot of the rubber, like I said, right at the forefoot here is flattening out where I'm running. That just comes with shoes, but again, this is a $200 super trainer. I want better materials and reliability from this. I mean, if you watch any ASICS Mega Blast video, I mean, those things hold up like a tank. So I don't know why this foam specifically, which is the carrier foam underneath, the FF Blast is the one that's touching the floor. And this is really wearing down along with the rubber. It's super thin to cut that weight down to that 8.5 ounces, but it's, you know, long term, I'm not sure if these would hit that 400 or 500 miles that the Mega Blast is able to do, and I know people took the Super Blast 2 as well. So as a whole, I really enjoy this shoe. I think it's fun, and like I said at the start, I am going to keep running in them. I forgot to mention the drop. I'm going to put it up on screen because I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I haven't noticed any like pain from like the way the drop works, like in a Nike where you get that 10 millimeter 8 to 10, and that kind of aches a bit more. I think this one might be a bit heavy of a drop, but it's not anything I noticed, not a negative way. I also love this colorway, by the way. I know a lot of people don't like the current Superblast colorways. I'm a huge fan. I love the way the shoe looks. I love lacing it up, except for when the upper starts sliding around, but yeah. Overall, I'm going to end this review. I'm going to keep running on these. I'm going to rate the ASICS Superblast 3 at a 7 out of 10. I really want to love this shoe and the sensation, but there's just too many almost there things for me. Between the durability underneath, the Jenga towerness at anything too slow or too fast, and then the upper negatively impacting the unstable foam. If the upper maybe cinched down a bit more, it might give less of that wobbly feel, but unfortunately it just doesn't. So I'm gonna end this shoe with a 7 out of 10. I might do a 150, 200 mile checkup because I really do enjoy it and I am going to keep running in it. It's just something when I go to lace up, it's like, okay, do I want to bother with fighting lacing this up to make sure it's cinched down, or do I want to reach for the Vomero Pluses or something where it's just going to keep my foot locked in? And that's a problem because these are $200. You can get the Vomero Pluses on sale for the low, like 150s and below. And it's going to do a lot of what this does. It's a heavier package. It's not as fun of a foam. And I think this looks cooler. I think this is a really cool looking shoe. I know a lot of people disagree, but I love the way this looks. But just, it's hard to make sense of it. It's so expensive. It's right in the class it should be, but I don't think it's delivering on that performance that it's marketing itself as. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for the ASICS Superblast 3. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on the Superblast 3. I wish it wasn't so much of just a everyday trainer with like some nicer foam. I wish it gave more super to the super trainer, but as it is right now, it's kind of an easy run shoe for that 730 to 830, and I don't really take it for my recoveries and I don't take it for the fast. So let me know what you take it for. What do you reach for it? Are my points crazy? Do you experience no problems with this upper? I hope so, because I would love to love this shoe more, but as it is right now, gonna keep it where it's at for its rating. I'm gonna keep running in it and I'll follow back up eventually. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.